Hey, what is up everyone? With Season 13 being out for a while now, and me having done a ton of these already, I think it's finally time for us to rank every single skeleton camp in the game. In total we have 6 skeleton camps, 2 in every region, similar to how we have the sea forts in the way they're spread out. And while you think that they're pretty similar, and in fact they are, obviously none of them have different, rewards or anything tied to them, this video is really focused on 3 main things: their location, their aesthetics, and just some general, actual gameplay inside of it. And then along with these, I'll just give you my general thoughts on each of these. So a quick recap in case you don't know what skeleton camp is, which I figure if you're watching this video, probably have a good idea what skeleton camps are, but just as a quick reminder, when you go into them, you basically go underground and there's this constellation room, and you basically solve the puzzle by finding the 3 constellations that are on the main wall in the middle of the room. And once you complete that, you fight waves of skeletons, and upon defeating the waves of skeletons, the doors will open up and you'll be able to get the Orb of Secrets, or if it's a raid voyage, you'll get a few little treasures inside. So let's get into our 6th spot with Barnacle Cay. Barnacle Cay has a nice aesthetic inside where it's nice and overgrown environment, and there's lots of plants and everything down there. It looks pretty cool. But I found it's tougher to move around. There's little tiny half walls all over the place. So when I'm moving around, I find that I'm getting stuck in between places a lot. So that's not great. I also find that in terms of finding a good ammo crate to reload from and be able to fight from that spot, it's not also great either with that, and not the way that I like with some of the other places that we're going to talk about. So in general, just going to this one is my least favorite of all the skeleton camps, but I wouldn't say it's a bad skeleton camp. I just think it's the worst one out of all the ones we've gotten. The one thing that could be both either a good thing or a bad thing is the skeleton camp's location. It's very close to Ancient Spire Outpost, but it's also more central in the map, meaning a lot of people are going to be passing by this island. So that means you're probably going to be spotted if you're at this island, so you have to be more careful and keep an eye out when you're doing this one. At our 5th spot, we have Pearon Palms. This one, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of alright. There's nothing really that special about it, but it's also not anything bad with it, if that makes sense. What I do like about this place is the aesthetic of it. It fits the Shores of Gold very well. You can kind of see similar things that you see with the Shores of Gold here, and I think they nailed it with this. It just happens to be the next 4 are significantly better than the 2 that we just covered. So with that, let's go look at our number 4 spot with Lagoon of Whispers. This one I think is really great. I think it actually might have been the first one that I ever did, so it kind of is a little special to me in that sense. I really love the Siren Shrine aesthetic that they have over here, and when you're down here you basically see very similar things that you see there. I love the sound of just being under there. They did a really great job with the environmental work in all of these skeleton camps, but when you're down in the Lagoon of Whisper skeleton camp, you just hear the echoing of the waterfall inside as it surrounds you as you're walking around the place. And just the general aesthetic of the Siren Shrines, it's really nice to see. I talked about in a video not too long ago when I was talking about the Devil's Roar, that I would love to see a Devil's Roar version of the Siren Shrine. And while even though we haven't got another Siren Shrine since we got them originally in Season 4, this kind of gives me similar vibes to it, and it's kind of nice as almost a new Siren Shrine in a sense. With that said, let's go into our top 3 spots now. With our 3rd spot, Lookout Point. Lookout Point from an aesthetic purpose is very average. I would say it's kind of in line with Pearon Palms, where there's not too much that's making it stand out. I don't think it's as good of an aesthetic as Lagoon of Whispers with the Siren Shrine aesthetic, but I do really love the purple sky in there. Just when I'm inside there, it's a very nice, mellow experience. But the real reason that Lookout Point got the 3rd spot and beat out Lagoon of Whispers and Pearon Palms is the ammo crate location is in a really good spot, and it's very easy to fight with it there, as well as it has one of the most secure locations because it's so close to the bottom of the map. Not too many people are going around that area, so you can pretty much be safe anytime you're doing this skeleton camp. And it's also really close to Plunder Outpost, making it so that even though you're already safe at that skeleton camp, you can get to an outpost really quickly, so even when you got your loot, you're not going to be having to travel it very far. So I think overall this is a really good skeleton camp. At our number 2 spot, this one is my favorite in terms of aesthetics. I think it's the best looking skeleton camp out of everything, and it also has a decent place for fighting skeletons on the upper level with an easy to access ammo crate that makes it a very good strategic spot to take out the skeletons that you're fighting or other players if you start getting attacked down there. However, every time I go to the skeleton camp, I always think to myself, this would be the perfect skeleton camp for somewhere in the Devil's Roar. It basically fits that whole aesthetic, and it just looks really cool. You have lava pouring down. I love like the broken crates that are on the ground with the glowing red steam coming out of it, and just all around, this is just really cool to walk around in. If I was to show someone a skeleton camp for the first time, this is probably the one I would show them, just because I think this one has the most work done on it and has the most detail, and I think it just looks really great. Sadly, it doesn't hold our top spot for this list, and in that place we have Blind Man's Lagoon. This, in my opinion, has the best place for fighting skeletons for that second round of the skeleton camps, where you can go on this little ledge, and not only do you have an ammo crate there that's easily accessible, but you also have a supply barrel that usually has some good fruit every time I've gone there. So you're able to basically camp on this little ledge, and it works a little bit better than some of the other places where you can kind of stand in spots to shoot at the skeletons. This one you basically get to kind of perch out a little bit further, and you have basically a full view of the entire room. So it's really great, honestly, and it works great if you have an eye of reach or something, or a flintlock, but you can use whatever you want up here, that as long as it's long range. And then even if the skeletons get up to you there, you can still just fight them off and then, you know, reload your gun or get some food if you need to heal up. Honestly, pretty great. Another reason that I think this gets a little bit bumped up, just slightly, is because it's one of the few where if you finish the vault, you can actually get accommodation from going to the skeleton that's inside, which I made another video talking about that and what it unlocks and stuff, so I'll link that here. But this skeleton camp is the one that has that accommodation. Overall, I really love the skeleton camps. I think it's my favorite thing they've added all year, or honestly the last 2 years, because last year was kind of a drag. Skeleton camps are just super fun. They give me the same kind of vibes that the Sea Forts gave me when those first released, and I really like changing up the meta a little bit, having this kind of puzzle aspect with the constellations and stuff, and I hope we get something more like that in the future. I hope we see another on-demand event like this, say maybe next year or 2 years from now. With that said though, let me know in the comments below which of these is your favorite skeleton camp, and tell me what your reason is for that. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably like this other video where I compare all the different on-demand events, the Sea Forts, the Siren Treasuries, and the skeleton camps, and figure out which ones are the best, which ones give the best emissary grade, how fast they are to do, how much gold they give, all that stuff. So I think that was a pretty fun video to do, and I'll leave that linked here for if you want to watch it. But that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all.